Namo Buddhaya, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram, the large Sutra on perfect wisdom, Appendix 2. Each of the large Tibetan versions of the Sutra contains a passage dealing with the 32 marks. Only 3 recensions of the Sanskrit text have survived. The first is the Gilgit Ms of the version in 18,000 lines. The second occurs in the 63rd chapter of the version in 100,000 lines. This is Satasahasrika. The third, which is translated below, can be found in the version in 25,000 lines, revised to conform with the Abhisamayālañkāra. This text first enumerates the 32 marks, then explains them, and thirdly outlines both their cause and their consequence. As for the third part, it is of special interest, and this section of the Prajnaparamita is probably the only surviving Sanskrit document which deals with this aspect of the doctrine in some detail. It shows many similarities with the Lakkhana-suttanta of Dīgha Nikāya, where it is said that seers, not of our communion, Bahiraka Isayo, are acquainted with Dharanti, these marks, but they know, Jananti, not for what deeds done, any of the marks is acquired. The traditions of these matters must go back rather far because they are shared also by the Sarvastivadins. And what Subhuti are the Tathagata's 32 marks of a Superman? He has stamped on his hands and feet lines depicting a wheel. His hands and feet are well placed. His hands and feet have webs. His hands and feet are tender and soft. His body has 7 protuberances. His toes and fingers are long. He has broad heels. His bodily frame is tall and straight. His feet have inconspicuous ankle joints. The hairs on his body point upward. His shanks are like those of the black antelope. His arms are long and powerful. His male organ is hidden in a sheath. His skin has a golden hue. His skin is quite smooth. The hairs of his body stand separately by themselves and curl to the right. His face is adorned with a hair tuft. The upper part of his body is like that of a lion. His shoulders are gently curved. The flesh between his shoulder blades is quite compact. He possesses a most excellent taste. The circumference of his figure is like that of a fig tree. There is a cowl on his head. His tongue is long and slender. He has a divine voice. He has jaws like a lion. His teeth are very white. His teeth are equal in size. There are no gaps between his teeth. He has a total of 40 equal teeth. His eyes are intensely black. His eyes lashes are like those of a magnificent heifer. He has stamped on his hands and feet lines depicting a wheel. On the soles of the Tathagata's feet and on the palms of his hands there grow wheels, with 1,000 spokes, with rims and naves, complete in every respect, as though beautifully engraved on bone or ivory. Because he places the soles of his feet evenly on the earth and his feet are not arched. His hands and feet are well placed. Because, as with the royal goose, the fingers of his hands and the toes of his feet are joined by webs. His hands and feet are joined by webs. Because the soles of his feet are and the palms of his hands are very soft like a ball of cotton wool, and exceedingly tender, his hands and feet are tender and soft. Because he has protuberances in 7 regions on his 2 hands, his 2 feet, his 2 shoulders, and above his neck, his body has 7 protuberances. Because the toes of his feet and the fingers of his hands extend far, his toes and fingers are long. Because his heels are extensive, he has broad heels. Because his body is 7 cubits tall and upright, his bodily frame is tall and straight. Because his knees and ankles are well concealed above, his feet have inconspicuous ankle bones. Because the hairs of his body curl upward, turning to the right, curling in rings, the hairs of his body point upwards. Because his shanks are like those of some deer, are safe and sound, and are regularly built up and rounded. His shanks are like those of the black antelope. When he stands up with his thighs straight and without bending the body, he can touch his kneecaps with the two palms of his hands. Before his arms are long and powerful. Because his male organ is concealed within a beautifully formed sheath and is like that of a thoroughbred elephant or stallion. His male organ is hidden in a sheath. Because his skin has the hue of the finest burnished gold, his skin has a golden hue. Because his skin is smooth like well-worked gold and silver. And because dust cannot soil his limbs, his skin is quite smooth. Because the hairs of his body are well separated, grow each one singly, without a second by the side, the hairs of his body stand separately. Because his face is adorned with a hair tuft between his eyebrows, which is 100 times more brilliant than the moon and sun, and which is white in color, like a jasmine flower, the moon cow's milk, or a horferous blossom. His face is adorned with a hair tuft. Because the upper part of his body is large, the upper part of his body is like that of a lion. Because the nape of his neck is well rounded and tightly knit, his shoulders are gently curved. Because his shoulders and chest are solid and well smoothed, like a golden slab, the flesh in between his shoulder blades is quite compact. Because his taste is unimpaired by wind, bile, or phlegm, because he perceives each individual taste as it occurs, and because his consciousness conforms to it, he possesses a most excellent taste. Because his body measures a fathom both in height and width, the circumference of his figure is like that of the fig tree. Because he has on the top of his head something like a cowl, which is well rounded and turns in the right, which is well formed and beautiful to behold, there is a cowl on his head. Because it is the color of the petals of the red utpala flower, and when extended is exceedingly extensive. His tongue is long and slender, because his voice is like that of Hiranyagarbha or of the Kalavinga bird. He has a divine voice. Because his jaw is like a circular mirror, well finished, powerful, pleasant to behold, and fascinating, he has jaws like a lion. Because his teeth are exceedingly white, like the jasmine flower, the moon, a fragment of conch shell, his teeth are very white. Because not some teeth are higher and some lower, his teeth are equal in size. Because there are no intervals between them, there are no gaps between his teeth. Because there are neither more nor less, and because they are neither bent nor crooked, he has a total of 40 equal teeth. Because both the black and the white parts of his eyes are unstained and white pure in their color, and because they never become bloodshot, his eyes are intensely black. Because his eyelashes, above or below, are just at the right angle. And because they are very neat, the Tathagata's eyelashes are like those of a magnificent heifer. Because he has followed the spiritual teachers and gone to meet them, has listened to the Dharma and praised it, has honored the monasteries, shrines, and so on, he has stamped on his hand and feet lines depicting a wheel. And this is furthermore a prophetic sign indicating that he will have a great retinue, because he had had a firm sense of obligation as a result of his vow. His hands and feet are well placed, and that is a sign indicating that he will be unshakable because of his cultivation of the four means of conversion: gifts, kind words, beneficial actions, consistency between words and deeds. His hands and feet have webs. And that is a sign indicating that he will have the ability to convert beings quickly, as an end draws them in, because he has given away fine food and drink. His hand and feet are tender and soft, and his body has 7 protuberances, and both these are signs indicating that he himself also will receive fine food and drink, because he had freed prisoners who had been condemned to death, has helped living beings and scrupulously abstained from taking life. His toes and fingers are long, he has broad heels, and his bodily frame is tall and straight. And these are signs indicating that he will have a long life, because he has cultivated wholesome dharmas and taken hold of them, and because they continue to grow and never diminish. His feet have inconspicuous ankle joints, and the hairs of his body point upwards, this being signs that he will be endowed with the Dharma and Vinaya, which he will never lose again, because he has honored others by bestowing upon them the knowledge of crafts, sciences, actions, after he has first learned them himself. His shanks are like those of the black antelope, and this is a sign indicating that he will quickly learn them again, because he had given all the wealth which was his to those who asked for it, and never refuses anyone. His arms and legs are long and powerful, and that is a sign that he will have sovereignty over the nations and the discipline, because he didn't separate those friends, relatives, and kinsmen who were united in enmity, urged those beings who lived apart from their families to lead a chaste life, and because he has guarded the secret mantras, his male organ is hidden in a sheath, and this signifies that he will have a great many spiritual sons, because he has given away fine coverlets, cloaks, and undergarments, as well as palatial buildings, as stately houses. His skin has a golden hue and is quite smooth. Both these signify that he will be the recipient of such fine coverlets, cloaks, and undergarments, palatial buildings, mansions, and stately houses, because he has avoided society and because he has suitably served upon his spiritual superiors, such as his preceptors, teachers, parents, and so on, has shown respect to them and has not scorned their advice. The hairs on his body stand separately by themselves, curling to the right, and his face is adorned with a hair tuft, this being signs indicating that he is without an equal, because his speech has not been scurrilous or deprecatory, but kind and helpful, and because his well spoken words conformed to the needs of his listeners. The upper half of his body is like that of a lion, and his shoulders are gently curved. And these are signs which indicate that he cannot be obstructed, because he has freely bestowed upon the sick drugs, help, and medical treatment, as well as suitable foods, and has attended to their needs. The flesh in between his shoulder blades is quite compact, and he possesses a most excellent taste. This signifies that he will be rarely oppressed by sickness, because in the past he has encouraged others to construct pleasure groves, assembly halls, parks, ponds, bridges leading to inaccessible places, refectories, pavilions, dams, monasteries, etc. And him because he has himself also given away all these things to an extraordinary extent. The circumference of his figure is like that of the fig tree, and there is a cowl on his head, and this indicates that he will win overlordship, because he has for a long time spoken with a soft, kind, and sweet voice. His tongue is long and slender, and he has a divine voice, and these two presage the acquisition of a voice which has 5 qualities. It is intelligible and distinct, delightful, and non-repugnant when being heard, deep and resonant, clear and pleasant to the ear, skillful and unconfused, because for a long time he has refrained from idle talk and has spoken in due season. He has jaws like a lion, and that is a sign indicating that his words will always be acceptable, because he has respected others and felt no undue sense of pride, and because his mode of livelihood has been perfectly pure. His teeth are very white and equal in size, and that is a sign that he has built up his retinue in the past, because for a long time he has habitually spoken the truth and never slandered anyone. There are no gaps between his teeth, and he has a total of 40 equal teeth, and this indicates that he will have a retinue which cannot be broken up, because as one whose mind was mature and who never rejected anyone, he has viewed people with an eye free from passion, hate, and delusion. He now has eyes which are intensely black, and his eyelashes are like those of a magnificent heifer, and that presages the fact that he will in every way be lovely to behold. These are the 32 marks of the Superman. The Tathagata's body Subhuti is endowed with these 32 marks of a Superman, the 80 accessory marks. And what Subhuti are the 80 accessory marks of a Tathagata? The Buddhas, the Lords, have copper colored nails because their minds are free from passion, virakta, with regard to all conditioned things. The Buddhas, the Lords, have glossy Snigdha nails because their minds are intent on the happiness and welfare of all beings, as if they were their own beloved Snigdha relatives. The Buddhas, the Lords, have elevated Tunga nails because they are the offspring of a lineage marked by superior Tunga merit. Their toes and fingers are rounded, Vrita, because their conduct, Vratam, is faultless. Their toes and fingers are compact because they have accumulated extensive wholesome roots. Their toes and fingers are tapering because they have gradually stored up their wholesome roots. Their veins do not bulge out, Guddha, because their work and life by body, voice, and mind has been well hidden, Sunigudha, by their living part in solitude. The veins are free from knots because they have broken up the knots of their defilements. Their ankle bones do not bulge out because they have understood the well hidden Dharma. Their feet are not unequal, Avishama, in size because they have finished with all difficulties, Vishama. They walk with the stride of lions because they are lions among men. They walk with the stride of elephants because they are elephants among men. They move in the manner of geese because, like the royal goose, they can fly through the air. They walk with the stride of a lordly bull because they are bulls among men. They walk while turning to the right because their path is worthy of respect. They walk elegantly, charu, because they are beautiful, charu, to behold. Their bodies are upright because their minds are constantly straight. Their limbs are well rounded because they proclaim the virtues of pure conduct. Their limbs are smooth, mrsta, because they have polished away from mrsta all evil. Their limbs are slender, anupurva, because they demonstrate Dharma gradually, anupurva. Their limbs are clean because they are endowed with cleanliness of body, voice, and mind. Their limbs are soft because their minds are in their own being soft. Their limbs are pure because their minds are in their own being pure. Their genitals are fully developed because they have well fulfilled the Dharma and Vinaya. Their knee orbs are large and beautiful because they have proclaimed the virtues which are large and beautiful. They walk at an even pace because they have even thoughts towards all beings. Their eyes are pure because they are most pure to behold, and their bodies are ever youthful because they demonstrate the ever youthful Dharma. Their bodies are unimpaired by any defects, Dīgha, because their minds are constantly undejected, Dīgha. His body is prominences Utsada because his wholesome roots have completely vanished, Utsanna. Their bodies are firm and solid because the extinction of their rebirth is assured. All their limbs are well proportioned because they have well shown all the limbs of conditioned co-production. The pure light which emanates from their bodies dispels the darkness because they are most pure to behold. Their bellies are round because they have pupils whose conduct is perfect. Their bellies are smooth because they have emerged from the folds of samsara. Their bellies are unmarked because their horns are broken off. Their bellies do not hang down because they have caused people to turn back on the extinction of Dharma. Their navels are deep because they have penetrated the formest deep dharmas. The navels are twisted to the right because their pupils learn in the right way. From all sides, they are beautiful to behold because they have a community consisting of pupils who are beautiful to behold. Their habits are clean because their minds are supremely clean. Their bodies are free from black moles because their Dharma and Vinaya are free from black doctrines. Their hands are soft like cotton wool because with the body light as cotton wool they demonstrate the Dharma. The lines of their hands are fresh because by their love and their own people and for people in general they gladden the great disciples. The lines of their hands are deep because they are firmly established in what is firmest and deep. The lines in their hands are extensive because they have proclaimed the Dharma of vast passions. Their faces are not too long because they have drawn up a code of moral training which is not extensive. Their lips are red like bimba berry because they have got rid of all the worlds as if they were a reflected image, pratibimba. Their tongues are supple because they have been gentle leaders in the past. Their tongues are slender because they have been reborn with abundant virtues. Their tongues are red rakta because they have disciplined, passionate rakta, common people in the Dharma, which is hard to fathom. Their voices are deep like thunder because they have remained unafraid when they have heard the rumblings of thunder. The sound of their voices is sweet, beautiful, and soft because they have pupils who discourse in sweet, beautiful, and soft voices. Their eye teeth are round because they have transcended the fetters of becoming. Their eye teeth sharp because they are skilled and disciplined people of keen intelligence. Their eye teeth are very wide because their Dharma and Vinaya are extremely pure. Their eye teeth are equal in size because they are established in an equal share of the stages. Their eye teeth are regular Anupurva because they have demonstrated the gradual Anupurva reunion. Their noses are prominent because they stand on the prominent mountain of wisdom. Their noses are clean because they give rise to purity in the persons to be disciplined. Their eyes are very large because the Buddha Dharmas are extremely large. Their eyelashes are well developed because the hosts of beings around them are exceedingly numerous. Their eyes are white and dark blue, like the petals of the blue lotus, because like the petals of the blue lotus, they are welcomed by gods and asuras, by men and by beautiful young women. Their eyebrows are extensive because they always appear to be stately and dignified. Their eyebrows are smooth because they are skilled in the unsullied Vinaya. Their eyebrows have hairs of equal sama length because they have known all folds from every side samanta. Their eyebrows are glossy because they have lovingly disciplined beings. Their arms are long and muscular because they possess the Dharma, which is extensive and full of meaning. Their 2 ears are equal in size because they have won all their battles. The ability to hear is not impaired in any way because their disciplining of beings is not impaired in any way. Their foreheads are unwrinkled because they are no longer subject to anything that leads to false views. Their foreheads are broad because they have crushed all the false teachers, be they Shamanas or Brahmins. Their heads are large because they have well fulfilled their supreme vows. The hair of their heads is as dark as a black bee because they have turned away from the delight in their humming of the sense objects. The hair of their heads is thick because they have laid aside the latent tendencies which should be forsaken with regard to vision and development. The hair of their heads is smooth because with their smooth intellects they have cognized the core of the religion. The hair of their heads is not shaggy because their minds are never disarranged. The hair of their heads is not rough because they never speak harshly. The hair of their heads has a fragrant smell which captivates of hearts of men because they are men who have turned to the wings of enlightenment, which are like fragrant flowers. They have the Srivatsa sign and the swastika on the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet, because their hands and feet are adorned with them. These are called the 80 accessory marks. With these 80 accessory marks, does the Tathagata become endowed? It is thus Subhuti that one should know the Dharma gift of the Bodhisattva, the great being. Subhuti, to teach these modes of Dharma to others, to demonstrate them, to reveal them, that is called the gift of the supramandan Dharma. Subhuti, it is thus that the Bodhisattva, the great being, gives both the material gifts and the gift of the Dharma. This Subhuti is the wonderful and astonishing Dharma of the Bodhisattvas, the great beings. And how does the Bodhisattva, the great being, help beings with kind words? There, Subhuti the Bodhisattva, the great being, establishes beings in the six perfections, the perfection of giving, etc., speaking kind words. The Bodhisattva, the great being, establishes beings in the six perfections. And why? Because in the six perfections all wholesome dharmas are contained. It is thus that the Bodhisattva, the great being, helps beings by speaking kind words to them. And how does the Bodhisattva, the great being, help beings? By acting for their benefit. Here the Bodhisattva, the great being, helps beings by acting for their benefit through the six perfections. And why? Because in these six perfections all wholesome dharmas are contained. It is thus that the Bodhisattva, the great being, helps beings by acting for their benefit. And how, Subhuti, does the Bodhisattva, the great being, help beings by consistency between words and deeds? Here, Subhuti, the Bodhisattva, the great being, has first himself conformed to the meaning of the six perfections, and then he establishes beings in them. And why? Because in these six perfections all the wholesome dharmas are contained. It is thus, Subhuti, that the Bodhisattva, the great being, helps beings by the consistency between his words and deeds. This also, Subhuti, is the wonderful and astonishing Dharma of the Bodhisattvas, the great beings. This is the end of the second and the last appendix of the large sutra on perfect wisdom, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram. This is the end of the whole large sutra on perfect wisdom of 100,000 lines. Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram was read by Repapaldan Sangmo in English language. Bhavatu sarva mangalam, bhavatu sarva mangalam, bhavatu sarva mangalam.